What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Sound Design channel. My name is La, and today we're going to look at the Stephan Jolk style lead for Melodic Techno. Let's have a little listen. Alright, I'm going to show you a little bit more of this sound after we've done the sound design, as I want to show how you can mix it into the track. So you see here where I'm playing this sound. It's at a point in the track where there isn't actually anything going on. It's just kind of empty, so I don't really need to mix it with anything. But I also do play it when there is things in the track like the bass and things like that. So I'm going to show you how you can mix that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's get into the sound design. So I've got a Serum channel opened up here at the bottom. I apologize if there's little crackles and audio dropouts. There's something going on with my interface, which I'm trying to fix, but not figured it out yet. But yeah, I apologize for that. So yeah, the sound is taken from the new Melodic Techno Dimensions pack, which is this one here. And it's this Jolk sound. So if I just play that, you hear it's the same sound. So what we're going to do is recreate it. So first let's set up the oscillators. So we have 3 oscillators, and we're going to leave these as both sawtooths. The sub one, we're going to actually turn it down. We're only using it to modulate, and the thing that we're modulating is this second oscillator. So we're going to FM from B. That's filter modulation from the from the sub. So the sub, the sine wave, is modulating this waveform. Okay, you're not going to visually see it. It won't change as I do this, but you'll hear the difference. So we want to filter these, just these two. Turn the filter on. Bring the cutoff filter down. We'll go to around here. We'll take the resonance down. And we can have a listen. We'll just bring this up to where it's supposed to be, around here. And then we'll also turn this down. So this is only being used as like a higher sound. Okay, so we can't really hear much going on now because the filter's down quite a lot, but that's the kind of tone we originally want to start with. So first let's do the envelopes, as these are pretty important. So we have the first envelope, which is the amp envelope, which is controlling the amplitude of the sound. Is we want a bit of release, like 400, something like that. And on that one we have the attack really low as well. On the envelope 2, we want to have, and this needs to be pretty much the exact same, so we're just going to bring this to, we'll double click this, and then we'll type 714. Whoa. I have no idea what's just happened to my Serum. Let's try and reset. There we go. Okay, and then we'll put the decay down to 313. Well, 431. Got my numbers muddled up. And then we bring the sustain down, and then we have a bit of the release. So something like this. Yeah, 100. I think this is about right. Yeah. And we have a little bit of a change in the curve. So the person who made the sound has originally just dragged this up a little bit, so it's like straight. And there we go. That's pretty much exactly the same. So now what we want to do is we want to go to the effects section. Oh, and also we need to put mono legato on. Very important. And a bit of this always. So this will glide a little bit. If we don't have mono legato on, as we go through these different notes, they will play at the same time and it just sounds a bit messy. So then we go to the effects now. We add the distortion. We're also going to have a bit of reverb. We're going to have a delay, and then we're going to have a filter. For the distortion, we go to this diode 2. It's a very dirty distortion. Bring this down quite a lot because it's going to be pretty strong. You don't need to filter as they've done here because it's actually off. If you had one of these on, it would mean that you would need to filter. And then we'll put the delay after the reverb. So it's the same. Have a little bit of the mix here. Filter. So we don't want any of the low end in the reverb. We can put a bit more of the size and a bit more of the decay. And then we'll go down to the delay. We filter again with the delay. And with this, we have the timing at this 8th notes. So whereas 8, there we go. So that's on the left, and then on the right it's on this 16. This is a very specific amount. So and then it's 0.500. 0. And then we go down to the filter. The filter's not actually doing anything in this case, but it's a way of controlling the sound after all the effects. So what he's done, the sound designer, is we have the cutter filter like this, and then we're controlling it with a macro. And on this case, the macro is all the way over, so the filter is all the way over. But if at some point in the sound, in the track, maybe you wanted to close it down, you can use this to control that. All right, there's nothing else going on with the filter. We'll just leave it as it is. So now the sound should be pretty close. Let's have a listen. Yeah, I forgot to do something very important. I forgot to put this envelope over here. So we need to open the sound up with this envelope. So then we want to control the amount. So we'll go to like here. Let's try again. There we go. So I'll just show you the MIDI real quick before we do the processing. So this is what we have going on. You can do whatever you like with the MIDI, of course, but it works well doing big octave jumps. You can see here we're starting on the F, then going up to the B, the A flat or G sharp, and so on and so forth on these notes as well. There is some MIDI that comes with this sound if you grab the pack, and it will be similar to how Stephan Jolk has used it. So now let's do the processing. So what I've done is I've put an EQ. So I'll just grab an EQ. And what I did is I dipped a little bit in the bass here because it was a bit resonant, and cut away here. It's just because we don't need these frequencies. And then you could do what you like with the high end. Maybe you might want a bit of a boost in the high end, but I think the sound is balanced quite well as it is. So we'll leave it as it is. And then we're going to have a bit of an OTT to just kind of make the sound feel really huge. So the OTT is downwards compression, which is on the right, and then this is expansive, basically. So it's like expanding everything above the threshold, which is on this side, and then we're boosting a lot on the volume. So this is a very strong effect, but we don't want to use a lot of it. We can just bring this down to around here. If you don't have OTT on, if you're not on Ableton, then there is an OTT through Xfer. I'm not sure if I actually have it on this computer. No, I don't. But there's a free OTT that you can get through the same company as Serum, which I recommend getting. It's really good to just boost sounds a lot. So let's have a listen to it with this OTT on. Okay, so you'll hear it kind of brings out the top end a bit more. It also brings up the volume of the reverb. So what it's doing is compressing the sound a lot, which means that the quieter parts of the sound are going to be louder, and the louder parts of the sound will be a little bit quieter. So it's just making it feel more full. Nice. Okay, cool. So that's the sound made. I did actually add an additional reverb, so it sounded similar to the other sounds I have in the track, because I'm using the same reverb, which is something I recommend that you do. I'm using a convolution reverb, which is this one here. Got a side chain on there, and I'm just sending it a little bit into that one, just so it's got the same kind of feel and space to it. All right, but the processing, just to get it to mix with the other sounds in your track, this is an important thing to do. So I've not done anything super advanced, but what I did is I had this group here called Big Ting, which is just all these sounds, these big foghorns. I've got like this one here as well. And I've got a bit of a LFO one here. I can show you guys how to make that one if you like. It's just like a supporting element for this, if you have a listen. Just runs a little bit in the background to give it a different layer. But yeah, the way that I've mixed it is I have this group here, and I've got the bass. So obviously this sound is very bass heavy. It's got a lot of low end in it. So what I wanted is to prioritize this sound because it's so big and confident and it kind of drives the track. And then the bass moves out the way of that sound. So we go into the bass group and we have sidechain going on. I've got one to the kick, which is standard. And then we got this big ting, which is the whole group. So the whole group is going to send its signal through to the bass, and the bass is going to move out the way and then come back in. I'm doing it kind of subtly, so I have the ratio quite not all the way over as you normally would with a sidechain. So around 4:1, and then we have a loose attack, and the threshold's not super low. So it's moving out away a bit, but there's a tiny bit of the bass content coming through. So we'll just have a listen to that so you see what I'm talking about. So you hear that the bass slowly creeps back in, and that's all good because we have this nice low bass content happening here. We don't need them to all be happening at the same time. And that's how you can mix it in. So then here where we have the bass playing and it comes back in fully, it works well. And a lot of dropouts, apologize. So yeah, if we have a look, you can see it moving out the way. And there we go. So that's how you can get it to gel with your track a little bit, so it's not too much low content happening at the same time. So yeah, I hope this was all helpful for you guys and educational. If it was, please leave a like on the video, leave a comment as well as it helps with the algorithm, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.